he's not allowed Meghan to suck him in and whatever else that she would have done. Let's leave it at that. And he's been very firm all along. William understands as a father himself that it's a huge thing to actually behave with appropriate firmness to a recalcitrant child who is drug-addled, mentally disturbed, an emotional mess.
Lady Colin Campbell, is Prince William, or a future King William, about to become our hero and strip Meghan and Harry of their HRH titles? That is certainly the reporting today from the Daily Beast. What do you make of it?
Well, Dan, as you know, Tom Sykes he's got impeccable connections.
He's good. He's the reporter, by the way, at the Daily Beast, European editor at large of the Daily Beast. Yeah, just for folk who don't know.
Sorry, yeah. And he's impeccably well connected. He's from one of the most wonderfully aristocratic families in the country. His parents were friends of mine. He's a friend of mine, and he's really, when he says something, you know you can rely upon it. And yeah, I mean, you and I both know that William is made of sterner stuff than Charles.
Yes.
Number one. And number two, also, I think what's really important is it's much easier to sever a relationship with a sibling than it is for a parent to sever a relationship with a child. So I think when you consider all of that, but William will put his foot down, and you know it, and I know it, and we've always known it. And it's just a matter of time. But of course, William is not king yet. And William can't force the issue. But if it's not dealt with by the time William accedes, when he accedes, he will deal with it. And I think about time too. I mean, I really do wish that the king would sort of bring this really sorry saga to an end by doing one or two very simple and constructive things. The first one is remove Harry and Meghan from the royal family website. Make it absolutely clear. I mean, he's made it slightly clear, but he can make it far more clearer and more obviously clear that Harry and Meghan do not represent the royal family in any way, shape, or form, and and then he could actually say, and nothing they do should be acknowledged as representing the royal family. They should be very firm about that. And I think if he did those two things, and then if he also strips him of his royal highness, that would be a very, or prevent them using it. At the moment, it's a gentleman's agreement, but you don't have a gentleman's agreement with a slattern and somebody who's not a gentleman. Sorry, which of course, Harry is definitely no gentleman. Gentlemen do not trash their families. Gentlemen don't tell lies. I mean, Harry today has told an absolutely gross lie in People magazine. He says that the royal family stripped Diana of her protection. They did not. I mean, I wrote about this in my 1997 book, 1998, sorry, The Real Diana, that the Queen, Prince Philip, Prince Charles, as he then was, Robert Fellows, they were all dead against Diana giving up her royal protection. But she was adamant that she was going to give it up because, according to her, this was how they were spying on her. Now, let's be fair. She got that from Martin Bashir, who we have a documentary proof of the fact that she got that from Martin Bashir now. But she genuinely believed it. And some of the blame for what subsequently happened goes to Martin Bashir. And there is Harry in People magazine blaming the royal family, when in fact Martin Bashir should share some of the blame. It's really interesting that William is very, very adamant about the fact that Martin Bashir is a so-and-so and that they should have absolutely nothing to do with ever helping to restore Martin Bashir's reputation, while Harry is bending over backwards to restore Martin Bashir's reputation. I mean, you talk about the courtesy of one shark and traitor for another. It's unbelievable.
Indeed, it is unbelievable on so many levels, Lady C. But can I just take you through some of these source quotes to Tom Sykes in the Daily Beast, because they're incredibly interesting, given that they come from friends of William. And so he writes today that William's hardline position contrasts with a relaxed attitude from King Charles, who one friend said would not want to open a new front in the civil war between the royals and Harry and Meghan. For now, friends of William say he will respect his father's rank and follow his lead, but they say that when William becomes king, Harry and Meghan could be more harshly dealt with. So this is what one friend of William told the Daily Beast. William has been given a great deal of influence on all areas of royal policy, but that cuts both ways, and he respects his father's rank. Charles has a softly attitude to Harry and Meghan, and so that's the policy for now. But the gloves will be off when he inherits the throne. If they started using the HRH titles on a regular basis, he would take them away for good. And then another friend of William, so this is sourced multiple times, Lady C, tells Tom Sykes, it's no secret William wants Harry more harshly dealt with. He thinks he has betrayed the family from top to bottom, which is the ultimate Windsor crime. It wouldn't take much to provoke him to flex his muscles when he is king. And the thing is, Lady C, we've seen just this week Meghan Markle attempt to reclaim the title Her Royal Highness, which goes in complete contradiction to the Sandringham Summit.
Yes, absolutely, Dan. She is flaunting, but Meghan and Harry are desperate. I don't think people understand to what extent they are desperate, because money is a huge problem. They are trying to hang on to their Netflix connection. My understanding is that Ted Sarandos supports them, but much of the board at Netflix does not support them. And there is a boardroom struggle. And if Ted Sarandos wins, which it's quite likely he will win, but that's not guaranteed. And even if he does win, they're not going to be ending up getting any vast amount of money, because everybody at Netflix has cottoned on to the fact that they can be got cheaply. What else do they have? Do you think she's going to make any real money from Lemonade? I mean, pigs will fly sooner.
Of course not.
That.
Of course not. I mean, they're trying to massage the figures, Lady C, but we're people who know exactly how the world of independent broadcasting works, and this is a flop. Confessions of a Female Founder is her biggest flop yet. There is no money to be made out of that podcast, given the costs associated with it. But isn't this desperation? Because I completely agree with you, by the way, especially the mainstream media is not picking up on this level of desperation. They're buying into a lot of the Sussex Squad spin at the moment. But that desperation is why William is so nervous, isn't it? I mean, just this week, we've seen Meghan on her affiliate links, which is something cheap and tacky that reality stars do to make an extra buck out of someone else, actually pimp out the Wales' children. Pimp out clothes worn by Princess Charlotte and Prince George. And that's just the beginning. So I would argue that William is seeing what's going on and has so much motivation in order to just thrust them out altogether. Do you agree that he is becoming almost more determined as Harry and Meghan become increasingly desperate?
Well, I think, Dan, he's always been determined, and he's always drawn a very firm line. I mean, he's drawn a line from the very outset, which of course has been part of the problem, because he's not allowed Meghan to suck him in and whatever else that she would have done. Let's leave it at that. And he's been very firm all along, but he doesn't, you will know better than most. The royal family is a hierarchical organization. The king has ultimate authority.
No.
And William, although he has a lot of authority, and his father has relegated as well as delegated a lot to him, William is number two, Charles is number one. And William is sensitive to the fact that his father loves Harry, and that William understands as a father himself that it's a huge thing to actually behave with appropriate firmness to a recalcitrant child who is drug-addled, mentally disturbed, an emotional mess. All of this has to be factored into the equation for people to understand why, to an extent, Charles, and also let's not forget Charles is ill, and Charles is going to remain ill. He might be treatable, but it's to the best of my understanding, not curable. So there's all of that to consider as well. And there are other priorities as well. It's, a head of state has to put the interests of the state first. Oh, yes, there is Meghan, so magnant. Now, was the belly 4 inches bigger that morning than it was that evening, is the question we need to ask.
Indeed, we have been asking that question, haven't we? But in the context of all of this, Lady C, the briefing just gets more deranged and more insane. Meghan and Harry are now excitedly telling People magazine, we're going to go on a celebratory spring break trip, taking Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet having created a happy bubble at home. Well, from everything I hear, there's nothing happy about their little Montecito bubble. But I think what's most extraordinary is, Lady C, this is the type of thing that Z-listers do. I mean, you don't see any A-lister. You don't see George Clooney. You don't see the Obamas calling up People magazine and boasting about some holiday. But listen to this article. People understands that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex enjoyed a sun-soaked spring break getaway with their children to mark the milestone of Meghan's new projects. The kids are adorable. They're incredibly smart, articulate, and fun. An insider tells People in this week's exclusive cover story traits that have been glimpsed through Meghan's recent return to social media. I mean, it's nuts. Actually, let me just read you out this post on X from the brilliant Tori Bakahi, Lady C, before I get you to weigh in. He said, the professional liars of People magazine are full of PR releases about the unemployed Markles and their fantasy lives. This one is about a break, yet laughably, it doesn't say where or what from. Also claims they're celebrating being a pair of talentless failures. Sad, and I thought his analysis was spot on. But first, we ingest a credit card's worth of microplastics every week. Tiny particles, how disturbing is this? In our food, our water, our air. They don't just pass through, they build up in our organs, disrupt hormones, and are linked to fertility issues, neurological disorders, and heart disease. In early 2024, human brain samples contained 0.5% plastic by weight, with higher levels tied to Alzheimer's and neurodegenerative diseases. Microplastics have also been found in semen and placentas, correlating with lower sperm quality, fetal exposure, and declining fertility. BPA and phthalates mimic or disrupt hormones like estrogen and testosterone, leading to reduced sperm counts, irregular cycles, and development issues in children. With microplastics in bottled water, food, and even household dust, avoiding exposure is impossible, but you can support your body's ability to fight back. Moringa activates the NRFT pathway, your body's detox switch, helping flush out microplastic-associated toxins like BPA, BPS, and phthalates. This pathway boosts detox enzymes, making harmful chemicals water-soluble for easy excretion. Now, not all moringa is created equal, though. Many supplements use lower quality sources, root, bark, contaminated powders, that type of thing, lacking the full spectrum of benefits. Plus, moringa naturally tastes bitter and, to be honest, pretty gross. So that's what led me to Morning Bean by Verso, a rich, chocolatey coffee alternative packed with moringa, cocoa, polyphenols, and electrolytes to help detox, fuel energy, performance, focus, and longevity. Now, this is my Morning Bean here. I've saved some for the afternoon today because I just wanted to try it and show you how good it tastes. Genuinely like a McDonald's hot chocolate. I'm not even joking. I don't know how they mask the bitter notes of moringa, but actually I don't care because it's just so good. Plus, Verso only uses pure moringa leaf, the most nutrient-dense part of the plant, and conducts third-party testing on every batch to ensure potency, purity, and safety. You can't avoid microplastics, but you can support your body's detox process. Start your day with Morning Bean for research-backed detox, energy, and health. Click the link below or visit buy.ver.so using the code Outspoken for 15% off. That's buy.ver.so using the code Outspoken for 15% off. But now, back to the show.
Dan, the whole thing is so desperate. Not even the Kardashians would sink to that level. But, you know, Meghan has sunk Harry to her level. And I'm afraid it is at a depth that is beyond the depth of a sewer. And we only need to see what has been going on and call it out for what it is. But it's desperation straits. Meghan is hoping yet again, and Harry has gone along with it because she's reeled him back in. Doubtless she's made sure that she's given him enough of the attentions that he used to enjoy, and also, you know, how much she loves him and how much she needs him and how terrible everybody has been to her, and so the beta male thinks he's been cast in the role of alpha male and he's going to rush to her protection. Of course it won't last. I mean, that's classical narcissistic reeling back in. But he has no dignity. He will sell anyone and anything out because Harry is an addict. He's not only drug addled, he is addicted to Meghan. He's addicted to the attention that she promised he would get, and he's getting. It's a very, in my opinion, very sick relationship, and we are seeing the effects of it. And by the way, why does People magazine spell Harry and Meghan Insider? Why do they spell Harry and Meghan Insider? I thought it was Harry and Meghan.
Now, Lady C, you know that things are bad when Harry is having to give these sort of bizarre, exclusive interviews, trying to justify his position. But again, can you just paint a picture of exactly why that is worrying Charles and William so much? Charles is, from my understanding, very concerned about the idea of Harry ending up back with the begging bowl because they can see how everything is not working out the way they expected.
Well, the money isn't there. The income stream has dried up. The income stream, first of all, Dan, we have covered this on numerous occasions. The figures bandied about 100 million here, 20 million there, all rubbish and always, so the income stream, which was much better initially, is no longer there. Charles, of course, well, he complained to his mother. He said, Harry treats me as if I'm a bank. And Harry thinks I'm a bank, and I'm not a bank. And he refused to take his calls. Well, I understand that, in fact, no one is taking Harry's calls. No one acknowledges anything that Harry or Meghan does. I gather that Meghan has even sent some of her what's it called?
Scam spread. You're not even allowed to call it jam, are you? The scam jam.
Oh, is it called? It's called scam jam. I thought it was called sputum, red sputum. Sorry.
I think that's much more appropriate.
But she sent that, and you know what happens when the palace receives unsolicited gifts? They hand them to third parties. So it's there. I don't know how to emphasize it enough that Harry and Meghan have hit a series of brick walls. They have hit a brick wall with his father. They've hit a brick wall with his brother many years ago, but they've hit a brick wall with his father. They've hit a brick wall with all of their other approaches, including Netflix. And of course, the king will be worried, but my understanding is that he's absolutely not receiving any calls, and Harry has been starved of all information because they have blanked Harry totally. Of course, if Harry comes over, he is made to understand, because as you know, these things are done through official channels, and Harry's office gets in touch with the King's office or with whomever else and says, Harry's coming over, and they say, well, he can stay at Buckingham Palace, and Harry says, oh, no, I can't stay at Buckingham Palace. It's too dangerous. I'll have to stay at a hotel. I mean, madness, absolute madness. But they've stonewalled them, and that's the best way to deal with people like Meghan and Harry. Now, this is also very classical 12-step treatment of somebody who is problematic. You starve them of a response, and you know it's called loving detachment. You wish them well and refuse to allow them to manipulate you. And that is the technique that has been used on Harry and will continue to be used. What will be really interesting is to see when Harry and Meghan are really going bust, what is going to happen then? Because if the king is alive, it's one thing. But if William is on the throne, I think Harry might actually end up working at McDonald's.
He looks a bit like Ronald, doesn't he? He's got the same colour hair, although not much of it these days. Do you know what? I'd actually love to see him try and work a good, honest day, because what's so hilarious is when you listen to Meghan's constant moaning on Confessions of a Female Founder, you'd think that she's some type of solo mum. She finds parenting so difficult, ladies. He's so overwhelming.
And we're not allowed to break.
Not allowed to break. You have to keep smiling. All of these constructs that I think we've all been prey to and have projected. And at a certain point, I mean, I often find too, even in the advocacy work or showing up and wanting to, that you go, am I saying the thing, but I'm not doing the thing?
Yeah.
And when can we start taking our own advice? What do you think that pivot point will be? When will the inflection point happen where women, especially the ones who are leading in these movements and leading in this messaging, to actually integrate that advice, and not just know it or intellectualize it, to integrate it. For you to say, yeah, honey, I am going to clear the rest of my schedule after this appointment, and please, can you drive me and come with me?
Yeah.
What Meghan said was a joke, She said that, when the children are out of the room, I miss them so much. I want cuddles. And I just love being a mom. And there's nothing better in life than being a mom. And the whole thing is so over the top. And I mean, your sister has a child, so you know what it's like to have children. And Meghan's characterization of her relationship with her children tells me that the relationship she has with them is either completely different, or then, going off what she has said about her relationship with them, it is very sick. She is a hysteric. She overreacts. She is not creating a tranquil or constructive environment in which her children will flourish. It's all about, oh, look at him, I'm such a wonderful mother. Oh, I can't help, I love you so much. Oh. I was dancing you for 2 minutes. I can't survive without you. I mean, that is sick. That's insane behavior. And I'm afraid that is what she has said is what she does with the children. Now, if it's true, social services really should be intervening.
Oh, indeed. Oh, indeed. Now, Lady C, given you mentioned my niece, you know I have to show a photo because I love her so much. There she is, Ivy Dan in a little Easter outfit. My sister sent me that, so I just had to use that opportunity to show you my pride and joy.
She's so adorable, Dan.
Yes, she is.
So adorable.
She absolutely is. She is. Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.